Hi guys, so we're continuing with dress selection and design. So the section we left off was quality of line arrangements. So all over patterns with variety of shapes and continuity of lines could have a circular or diagonal movement. Patterned fabrics, like the structural lines of a dress, have either the fluid rhythm of all over patterns or staccato rhythm of repeated separated units. The spacing requirements differ for each kind. If I get cut off, my Facebook page is facebook.com, yosalplay, YOSALLPLAY. So all over patterns which have fluid rhythm, it says squint your eye to make sure that one shape leads and is supported by all the others. A combination of varied shapes produces the most arresting patterns. Solid masses such as stylized flowers, leaves combined with thinner lines such as stems. The thin lines connecting solid shapes produce continuity of motion. So you could have delicate bouquets which derive character from value contrast and from shantung weaves. The examples are shown. This is from the Metropolitan Museum of Art. It's a French wood block print. Gift of William Sloane Coffin, 1926. Rosebuds on the right and the bouquets on the left. It says the more contrast, the more value contrast, the better. So, at first glance, pen line prints may seem composed of monotonously even lines. If the design really pleases, then look again to see if the lines vary in width. Even handwriting acquires character from the variation in the width of pen strokes. Also, observe space around a design. Empty spaces clarify patterns, and this is important. It just says the quality of the motif. So empty space is not necessarily a bad thing. Yet a pattern should not have so much space around it that the eye leaps from unit to unit. Avoid a jumbled pattern with no outstanding motif, a crowded pattern with not enough empty space, or a scattered pattern with too widely separated spaces and with a lot of space, and a pattern and patterns with monotonously similar shapes. Those are to be avoided. So, repeating small units is the other kind of pattern, which is a staccato rhythm. Polka dots, shells, and flowers, any motifs that can be repeated regular intervals at regular intervals without connecting links produce a pattern with staccato rhythm. The beauty of a repeat pattern depends on quality of motif and the spacing of the units. First, consider the motif. A motif which is irregular in shape is more unusual than a dot, a square, or a naturalistic imitation, like an inanimate object or anything like that. This is not to deny the charm of well-spaced polka dots. However, the unit should be large enough and the contrast with the background color sharp enough to appear significant. For example, tiny pastel pink rosebuds printed on white background might be characterless. It compares unfavorably with the stylized flower of a more forceful color. On the other hand, a huge cabbage rose design is trite. It stands out by dominating not only the pattern formed by the repeats, but the person who wears it as well. Judge arrangement of the units to stabilize the pattern. Space around each unit must be greater or less than the unit itself, never equal to it. A dotted or a striped design with pattern and background equally spaced is dazzling and virtually so dotted or striped designs with patterns and backgrounds equally spaced. So some examples are given. Judge the spacing. Surround a motif with space enough to stabilize it. Equality of motif and background is dazzling, particularly when color, value, contrast are strong. And the last part is about large spaced prints. So widely separated large bouquets or groupings of any kind without connecting links are known as spaced prints. Each unit stands out importantly because of its wide separation from other units, sometimes with dash in style more often. Warp prints are less spotty because they're unified by filling thread, but success of all large space prints depends on skillful coordination of pattern with cut-up gown. Gathering the fabric into a bouffant skirt or crushing the bodice into folds pulls the large units together and gives the pattern rhythm. On the contrary, each bouquet stands out awkwardly and in the wrong places on a narrow sheet. A large bouquet centered on the abdomen or derriere of a narrow skirt amuses everyone. So it just depends, but just you get to use your judgment and have harmony in the pattern and also how it fits when you wear it. So it's just a challenge with patterns to get it in a certain way when cuts are made on the fabric to design it for clothing. So thank you guys. I'll see you guys next time. We're going to pause and happy Halloween. Today is the 31st of October, 2016. Bye.